Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the week that was in pro wrestling. So that's going to be WWE Monday Night Raw, NWA Power, and AEW Dynamite. Gonna do my best to condense it as much as I can. But very hit and miss week of wrestling so far. Get into it. Definitely not the best build for some pay-per-views, but, like I said, I'll get into it, I'll explain. But first, we start off with Monday Night Raw. We start off with a Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez promo. Judgment Day is out. Liv starts us off saying, "We know that the tag team champs are here tonight and they're looking for a fight. And we know they didn't come alone. Neither did we." She brings out Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Nia Jax then takes the microphone, goes around to Raquel and Liv, saying, "Let's get this thing straight. I don't like you. I don't care about you at all. I don't think about you at all. But we handled our business. But Jade, Bianca, and Naomi can't stop thinking about me. So let's get this done." Out comes Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. With Bianca taking the lead, saying, "Do something. We know you didn't come alone. That's why we got Io." So Io Sky comes out. All four of them march to the ring. They get in the ring. They kind of face off with the others. Liv then takes over the promo saying, "Alright, cool. But it's not very smart because there's 5 of us and only 4 of you. The math isn't mathing. So we know what's about to go down. So who's going to throw the first punch?" Then out this music hits. "This is my brutality." It's Rhea Bloody Ripley. She has the face protector mask on. She's ready to go. It's Undashing Rhea Ripley. If you don't get that, Cody Rhodes had an Undashing gimmick where he, wore a Phantom of the Opera style mask and he put bags on people's heads. So Rhea comes out. She has a microphone, goes right up to Liv Morgan, says 2 words: "War Games." And then they just start brawling right around the arena to end the segment. I'm going to say this. This is going to piss a lot of people off. I don't know if this match needed to be a War Games match. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand wanting to give the women a chance, and usually the women over-deliver. But War Games is kind of starting to become the new Hell in a Cell. Like, it's kind of losing its specialness now that it's on the calendar every single year. So, hopefully... And plus, the storyline is just, okay, here's our team, this is your team. There's nothing really to this War Games feud, unlike what we're getting with the Bloodline. You see Jay, Sammy, and Jimmy not just interacting with themselves, but going out and recruiting other people. Like, why couldn't we see something like that with the women? All I'm saying, that's my TED Talk for the day. We then get a recap of what happened with the Bloodline on SmackDown, which I don't think we need. Like, don't get me wrong, I can understand maybe it's been a while since we've seen that. This just happened Friday. Like, give us a chance to breathe. We then get something very interesting, something that I kind of dig. We see Triple H showing up at a Travis Scott concert, presenting him with a WWE Hardcore title, which I don't know if this is going to be an official title, if it's going to be defended on Netflix, but, we'll see. Anyway, Triple H pre-announces Travis Scott is going to be on the first Netflix Raw, which, I'm definitely okay with that. Get some mainstream names to get maybe the casual crowd in, which I'm good with. So we then go to our first match of the evening, and boy oh boy, it took us a while to get here, but it's a mixed tag team match, meaning there's one man, one woman on either side. Men face the men, they tag out, women face the women, which, I do understand. So it's the LWO, so that's Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega, taking on American Maids, Chad Gable, and Ivy Nile. And right off the bat, Ivy Nile just slaps the taste out of Vega's mouth. They gator roll for a little bit to the outside of the ring, which leaves Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio to start. And I'm going to say this, Gable and Mysterio have some really, really good chemistry with one another. You got the ground and pound grapple style of Chad Gable versus the high flying of Rey Mysterio, who I can't believe is still flying this high with his age. Eventually the women get the hot tag in, and Vega has a pretty good advantage over Nile, and it's kind of similar to Rey and Gable, but the chemistry isn't there for them. I don't know what it is. Anyway, at one point, you had Gable up top, Rey Mysterio in the ring. He aids Vega up to Chad Gable's position. She hits a Hurricane Rana on him from the top rope, which was awesome. They go back and forth for a little bit. Mysterio gets the 619 and the West Coast Pop to pick up the win for the LWO. Solid matchup. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents in a little bit. Post-match, LWO are on the ramp celebrating. The Creeds come out of the crowd to console Gable. Gable then just starts doing what he did to American Alpha, just kind of slapping them around, being a bit of a bully. And I guess that fires them up, and they stand posing. So come on. So here's kind of my main issue with this. Ever since American Made has kind of been together, they've kind of been 50-50 booked. Like 1 week they get a win, next week they lost it. I mean, unless you're talking about the Wyatt Six feud in which they got demolished. But I feel like American Made is just such a good group that I want to see more from them. I want to see them handled with a little bit of more grace and a little bit more seriousness. Like, honestly, the Creeds, I think the Creeds should be contenders for the tag titles. Maybe get Gable back in the Intercontinental title picture. Give me something with these guys. Anyway, after that, we see Judgment Day in the back. They're all kind of just arguing with each other, with Finn continuing planting the seeds of doubt in the team, saying to Dom, "Oh, you've had your plate full for a while. If it helps, I'll go talk to Pierce." and it's clear you single-handedly beat Priest. You're the man to show the War Raiders what we're all about. So I want you to follow his lead. So Carlito and Dom leave backstage. And then he goes off into a side tangent with JD McDonough. Not sure what that's going to be about, but that should be interesting. Then we get a backstage kind of vignette thing from Miz and Karrion Kross. With Miz saying, I'm not afraid of you guys anymore. I'm going to do things on my terms. And the clock is ticking, with Kross saying that final part. So, it looks like the Wyatts and Final Testament are going into a feud, which I am more than okay from that. We then get a recap of the promo battle between Priest, Gunther, and Ludwig Kaiser from last week. Then we see Ludwig Kaiser in the back. He's getting ready for something. Gunther walks in saying, you think you speak to me, for me? You're going to find out who you want to be starting tonight. From now on, you're on your own. You're your own man. Gunther goes to leave, stops on a dime, turns back to Kaiser, and asks, do you still see your ring general? Kaiser answers, I see it. Nothing has changed. Gunther then replies, go out there, take care of yourself. So then Ludwig Kaiser leaves. We follow Gunther for a little bit, who sees Damian Priest at an autograph table backstage, apparently. And he's, deep in his work. So Gunther starts to sneak up on him. He's ready to go. Gets him in a sleeper hold for a second. But Priest fights out and hits him with a one-hit KO, which, dang. So that knocks Gunther right to the floor. Adam Priest walks in and asks, whoa, what's going on here? Actually, before that, Priest kneels down to Gunther and says, out there, you're a general, but in the streets, I am king. That's when Adam Priest walks in and goes like, whoa, what happened? Then Priest just kind of takes a look at him, says, I just took care of your ring general, and walks off. I'm going to say this Priest-Gunther feud has really picked up a little bit. I'm digging what they're putting down. Let's see what happens come Survivor Series. We then see the War Raiders in the back. They're working out. They're getting ready for their match, which is coming up a little later tonight. But first, we go for the Intercontinental title match as Sheamus takes on Braun Breaker. And, of course, they're building up that this title is the only title in Sheamus' career he hasn't held, which is very, very interesting. So, yeah, this is pretty much a big old hoss fight. They go back and forth at one another. You see Sheamus hit a white noise off the top, only for a 2 count. Braun Breaker with a beautiful Frankensteiner from the top rope. He goes for a big old normal spear, which doesn't see him run the ropes. Sheamus gets his knee up, only for a 2 count. Hits the bro kick. Braun Breaker then rolls to the outside. He goes for the sphere. That gets blocked again. Sheamus is then on the outside. Braun looks to hit the super spear. Is turning the corner. And then who gets in the way? It's Ludwig Kaiser. So the match is thrown out, which... Anyway, so post-match, Kaiser beats down Braun Breaker for a little bit. Then he sees the perfect setup, hits the drop kick into the steel stairs on Sheamus. This match was awesome. I'm going to say that. Am I a little disappointed that, this interference happened? Yes. However, I'm not too salty about it, because it puts Kaiser back in the spotlight and potentially in the Intercontinental title picture. So I am definitely a bit excited for that. We'll see where this match goes. Maybe we see something at Survivor Series. Maybe. Anyway, then we see Seth Rollins. He's getting ready backstage. In walks Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso, who I actually didn't see at first. But then once I saw both Usos, I'm like, oh, okay, he's there. So Sami Zayn takes the lead on this. He says, we all got differences with Roman. We only got one chance to make this work. You put your differences aside to work with Cody. We're asking you to do it again. Seth Rollins replies, I would gladly stand side by side with each and every one of you guys, but not with Roman. You have no idea how much it hurts. It's not worth it. I understand all your convictions, but it's not worth it to me. So I got a problem to solve tonight when I beat Reed. Good luck, but I'm out. And he walks off. Then Jimmy chimes in saying, I told you so. So, there is a lot of discourse online saying, oh, CM Punk's going to actually even be the fifth man. Wouldn't mind it. I don't think he's working back-to-back cage matches. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is where Brock Lesnar comes back. Not with the Grant case open. So, more than likely, this is going to be Seth Rollins at the end of the day. We'll see what it takes. Maybe it takes Roman coming to Raw and asking Seth himself. But for now, yeah, we're going to wait and see. We then see a hype-up video from Dakota Kai hyping herself up, saying that while she's down, she's definitely not out, and my goal is still to win gold. So, definitely a nice hype-up video for Dakota Kai. I don't know if she's going to be going solo or not, but we'll see. We then get the official announcement for a package for Women's War Games match for Survivor Series. Glad to finally have that locked in. Next match, it's a tag team match, playa, as the Judgment Day, being represented by Dom Mysterio and Carlito, take on the War Raiders. That's Eric and Ivar. And this match was fine. It was a fun little TV match. Dom showing out, which, it's crazy to see Dominic Mysterio's evolution. He looks great out there. Eventually, we do see the War Raiders get advantage. Ivar hitting a big old power slam. Then the combination War Machine. I guess it's like a doomsday device, but off the ropes instead of the top turnbuckle. For the win for the War Raiders. And as they're celebrating, JD McDonough and Finn Balor attack them from behind. With Finn Balor finishing off with a coup de grace. And, yeah, I do feel like with this, WWE are doing better with telling stories with the tag division. Is it the most intriguing thing ever? No. But I do feel like we're going to see where this goes. So then, soon as that's over, lights go out. Then we see the usual Wyatt 6 promo, where it's like grainy VHS picture in a dark room. But it's not the entire Wyatt 6. It's just Bo Dallas. However, I honestly thought this was Bray Wyatt reincarnated. He looks exactly like his brother in this vignette. Anyway, he says, I tried. I'm innocent. This is the most powerful tool. The lie is the most powerful tool. It's freedom from oppression. I tried to warn you. You damned yourself. I'm sorry for what happens next. There is blood on your hands. I never wanted this. So, either this is a warning for the Final Testament, or it's a warning for someone else. I'm not 100% sure yet. We then get a nice hype-up vignette for Lyra Valkyria, saying how she has flown high since coming up to the main roster. Hopefully we get something interesting done for her. If they're going to introduce a women's Intercontinental title, I feel like she would be the perfect first person to hold it. But, yeah, we'll see where that goes. We then see Otis, Akira Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree. They're walking around backstage, run into Kofi Kingston, with Otis taking the lead a little bit, saying, I'm excited for your New Day 10-year celebration. So how's Woods doing? And before Kofi can get a word out, Woods comes in, and he says, the past few weeks we've been arguing. We haven't been on the same page. But Cross is still in my head. I can't get him out. Then Kofi pretty much says, look, you gotta ignore what Cross is trying to spin in your head. And Otis just kind of scoffs. And then Woods just goes off. He says, mind your own business, Otis. Why do you think Gable left you? And yes, you want to be sad next week because it's be the New Day versus Alpha Academy. And the win versus you will put us back on track. So Woods, that Woods heel turn is going to hit. It's going to hit hard. Because New Day. I'm one of the biggest New Day fans there is. I was there when Kofi Kingston won the WWE title at WrestleMania 35. It'd be sad to see him break up, but I got a feeling there's a little bit more in the power of positivity. And don't you dare be sour. Anyway, that leads us to our main event of the evening. Of Raw, at least. As it's Bronson Reed taking on Seth Rollins. And before they even hit a move, out comes the New Bloodline, minus Solo. They all surround the ring. They're ready to take out Seth, it looks like. Then out comes Sammy, Jimmy, and Jay. And they brawl with the New Blood to the back. Which, that was definitely a nice brawl. Then Reed takes advantage for a little bit. Then Seth gains advantage. Pretty much hits a bunch of dives on Seth. They go back and forth. Then Reed with a long dart to Seth right into the barricade, who beats the 10 count. They get back in. They get back right at it. Then we see Seth take Bronson Reed's head and bounce it into the ring steps like a dang basketball. He goes for the stomp onto the step, but that misses. Reed fights back, hits a big old powerbomb only for 2. Seth fights back with a powerbomb moonsault, only gets a 1 count. Couple of times goes for a pedigree, but Bronson Reed powers out. Eventually he does hit it, only for a 2. Hits the stomp, goes up top for the super stomp, but then he gets distracted by something. And it's revealed Solo Sikoa, who's standing on the announce table. He's talking smack to Seth. That gives Reed time to recover. Hits a Death Valley driver, 2 sentons, and finishes off with a tsunami to pick up a win. Here's what I'll say. I love WWE taking advantage of the numbers game here. It's more than obvious Seth is going to be the 5th man. Otherwise, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting War Games match. And also, if we don't see a Fatu moonsault into a tsunami on Seth in War Games, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Like, that spot has to happen. So, that was Raw. Again, a couple more ups than downs. My only real issue was the Ludwig Kaiser interference in the Intercontinental title match. And then just this kind of overcooked Bloodline versus New Bloodline thing. Hopefully we do get to see this feud finish at War Games, because I need to see something else. So, yeah, that is it for Raw. Pretty entertaining episode. We now move into NWA Power, where we kick off with probably the most cringe thing I've ever seen. The Family Jewels finale. Basically, it was Rolando Friedman versus Eric Smalls in a ladder match where the winner takes down a bag of family jewels and the winner gets to hit the loser in the family jewels. So they tried this segment at NWA 76. Smalls apparently fought back, and that led to the debut of Mr. Grimm, which that was definitely a surprise. So now we get it here. Eric Smalls getting on the mic first, saying, "I did lose this match. I'm a man of my word. Go ahead." And then Rolando says, "I've been waiting for this my entire life. No more funny business, big man. I hope you didn't have any plans to make your family bigger." So, Slade, who is with Rolando Friedman at this point, unfolds one of the steel chairs. Small steps up, adjusts himself. Rolando winds up, stops short. So he's like, no. Takes off his jacket, winds up again, stop short. Then he goes over to Slade and says, no, I can't do it, you do it. And Slade's there, trying to look as straight-faced as possible. I'm sure once the camera was off him, he had a good laugh. Then Rolando winds up, makes contact, but he's acting like he's broke his hand. And everyone was like, what happened? He's clearly in pain. So Eric Smalls goes in, digs around, and produces the most basic looking athletic cup I have ever seen. So then he's kind of celebrating the fact he got another one over on this. This brings out BFT, Blunt Force Trauma, which is a bit overkill, but I understand. They take out Eric Smalls. Then at the direction of Aaron Stevens, BFT picks him up, and Stevens takes the shot, right to the gonads. Then he does something interesting. He's like, you want to see it again? So he kind of winds up and he gives them this. If you don't know what this is the Mongrovian spike, made famous by the late Question Mark, if you remember him from the original run of the NWA, where he teamed with Stevens, or he was an opponent of Stevens. So then, Stevens, Mongrovian spike to the family jewels of Eric Smalls. So, this whole segment was dumb. I'm sorry. I did not need to see this. Nice tribute by Stevens, I guess? Yeah, I really don't know what this is going to lead to. Maybe it leads to a rematch between BFT and Knox and Murdoch for the tag titles, which I do not need to see again. But I'm glad this whole thing is over. We can stop doing this segment. Let's go on to something else. So, anyway, next up, we got the NWA Women's Tag Team titles on the line as the It Girls. So that's Miss Star. Almost said her other name. And Ella Envy taking on Caribbean Flow. So that's La Rosa Negra and Haley J. Oh, God, I forget her first name. I do apologize. Ruthie J. That's her name. Okay. And this was a really, really fun tag match. Like, they give this woman more than enough time. And they pretty much went tit for tat. But at one point, we see La Rosa Negra go up for the cookie splash. But before she can... she actually does miss the splash. This brings in Miss Star. But as she's getting in, we hear ding, 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 ding. Now, I thought this was some ally of maybe Ruthie and La Rosa. But apparently that was the 10-minute time limit, which I was so confused about. So the match ends in a draw. Still your tag team champions, the It Girls. So hopefully this means we get more of a clear finish to this feud going forward. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. And this leads to a backstage interview from Hollywood Haley J. Interesting to see her here, because I thought she was signed to WWE already. I guess not. So, anyway, she says, "You all know who I am. I'm already on top. I'm the best of today. And the stars, they don't wait in line. They go right to the front. And I'll take out Kylie Page on my way to the title." So, very clear message for Haley J. Definitely going to be interesting to see where she ends up. Then we get another interview from Pretty Empowered with Kenzie saying, "I got a big match coming up tonight, but I'm clearly having some knee problems." Then Kylie says, me too. Is your shoulder hurting?" "Yeah." Kenzie then continues, "Clearly, I'm not feeling 100%, and this is not fair for anyone. I'll see you later, though." So, yeah, this was clearly a setup for something a little later in our main event. We'll go to that in a minute. Before we do, we got EC3 in his first match without the NWA title, taking on Nick G, who is the most generic-looking creator wrestler I have ever seen. However, he kind of brought it to EC3 a little bit. Like, obviously EC3 was going to go over, but Nick G definitely brought it, hitting an STO, Hitting a beautiful looking spinebuster too. That was wild. Eventually, EC3 wins with a combination Thesz press, which you don't see that much anymore. An angle slam right into a 1%er to pick up the win. I do hope we do see EC3 back in the world title picture soon, because he is definitely an interesting character. Although I do like Tom Latimer on top. Next up, we got a couple of debuts. Although I think the second team has been in NWA before. But the big debut is Primo and Epico Colon. It has been way too long since I've seen these two guys. They're an underrated tag team as they take on the Rewind Society, which is an awesome name. So yeah, this was a shorty but a really goody tag team match. Like, the Rewind Society clearly kept up with the Colons, but eventually Colons win with a backstabber, which is a move created famous by their brother and cousin, respectively, Carlito. So yeah, entertaining little matchup. Hopefully we get to see the Colons challenge for the tag titles soon. I think that would be very entertaining. And it's good to see the Colons back. I think they're severely underrated. Then we get a video promo from Mims, not Miz, hyping up his matchup with Burchill, the former Paul Burchill. We'll see what we got coming up there. Next up, we got the NWA Women's title on the line as Natalia Markova takes on Kenzie Page. And Markova goes right into it. Like, big old super kick before the bell. She takes her pillar to post. Eventually, Kenzie Page does get back into it. However, after a big old drop kick, in runs Tiffany Nieves. She runs into the ring and hits a cutter on Kenzie to cause the disqualification. So it does look like Tiffany is going to be inserted into the Women's World title picture, which I am totally fine with. I do wish we got this full match, but I guess we're saving that for Samhain, which, that's going to be fun. The next is probably one of the best produced things I've ever seen on NWA TV. And it was a Kazana family music video hyping up that they do things by the book. Which is, if you haven't seen this, go give it a watch. It was wild. It was entertaining. I got a couple laughs. It was funny. And finally, we got our main event of the evening, and it is for the junior heavyweight title as Christian Anderson, which is it's an interesting name, challenges Alex Taylor. Although, apparently I heard this is a non-title match, so got that wrong. Christian definitely fights up to Alex Taylor at first. Taylor dominates for a little, taking some shortcuts, including a bunch of eye rakes, which that can't be good for anyone's eye. Christian then with a couple big moves to get out of it. Goes for a moonsault, which that's definitely an interesting way to go. Alex Taylor catches him out of midair, goes to the opposite turnbuckle, hits a snake eyes, and a green whistle to pick up the win. Apparently Taylor has Jack Cartwheel coming up. So, that should be a fun matchup. Definitely an entertaining match. Hopefully we get to see more of Christian coming up, because he's talented. I'd like to see him do a bit more. So that was NWA Power. Definitely more ups than downs. I do wish we had more time for the women's title match, but I understand why they did it. So now we finish up with AEW Dynamite, where they show parts of the Guns N' Roses music video hyping up Full Gear, which, if you haven't seen that was freaking awesome. That was a nice music video. We then get a brief rundown of the Full Gear card, and then we start off with the 8-man All-Star Tag Team match as Ricochet, Will Ospreay, Mark Davis, and Powerhouse Hobbs team up to take on the full force of the Don Callis family. So that's Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage. And this, started out as a brawl on the ramp to start it off. Eventually, Davis and Takeshita gets in the ring, and Davis did not have a single ounce of ring rust. He looked so natural in there, especially when he came face to face with Kyle Fletcher. Hopefully we do see something from him soon. At one point, we did see Powerhouse Hobbs, the Callis family, force Powerhouse Hobbs' knee into the space between the ring step and the ring, which that's a very small step. And then they throw Will Ospreay into the step, and it looks like he's injured. So Hobbs then goes to the back with help from staff. So that leaves the baby faces down one man. They go tit for tat for a little bit. Eventually, Powerhouse Hobbs does come back, and he comes in like a house of fire. But here's what happens. After Ricochet hits a big old Spanish fly, Ospreay sets up for the hidden blade, but instead of hitting its intended target, it hits Mark Davis. Callis family then clear the ring. Takeshita with a big old power drive knee for the win for the Callis family. I'm going to say this. I absolutely love this matchup. Definitely some good mix of ex-WWE guys and a lot of up-and-coming stars. And yeah, everyone got their stuff in. It was awesome. We then get a sort of in the parking lot promo from Jon Moxley and his team, where Moxley starts. Cassidy is nothing more than a snake, a serpent slithering on the battlefield. I don't care if you're a great guy outside the ring. I care about you, who you are when the bell rings. And you're so much more behind those eyes. And while your mind is at full gear, your body is up for grabs. And tonight, I'm going to end you. That was actually Claudio to Darby, which leads to Darby Allin in a different part of the parking lot saying, Death Riders, you guys will have your day. Claudio, today is your day. So he goes in the arena. We then see the Hurt Syndicate arrive, with MVP taking the lead, saying, we got a special treat for the crowd tonight. Bobby Lashley will be in action tonight, having his first match in AEW. Then we see Bobby Lashley kind of hit the ground. We reveal that Swerve hit him with a chain wrapped around his fist. He then runs off into the night with the Syndicate not so much right behind him. So, yeah, the build for this has been awesome. I can't wait to see that match. We then get a promo from Adam Cole, baby, who says, I wish so bad I was the one getting my hands on MJF. I did everything so we didn't fight. Roddy succeeded where I failed. And I hope you'll give him the ass-kicking of a lifetime. Before he can say more, Kyle O'Reilly comes out, which, definitely a bit of a surprise. Gets in the ring, grabs a mic, says, 14 years ago, I had my second match with you in Ring of Honor. We both came a long way from them. We've had our highs, we've had our lows, but I'm only out here to tell you the truth. Your crusade against MJF has to end before someone gets seriously hurt. I'm not stopping my friends from having battles, but I don't have a good feeling about this. Adam Cole then replies, you don't think Roddy can handle MJF? Kyle then replies, dealing with MJF is like playing with fire. And you're a great leader, Cole, and you're a good friend. But MJF is more of an evil bastard than you can ever imagine. So then Kyle leaves. Adam Cole then just has this deer in the headlights look on his face. I gotta tell you, this exchange kind of fell flat for me. Like, I get it. I get the history between these two guys. But, I don't know. Why should Kyle O'Reilly be concerned about this? He's got his own stuff to worry about. Speaking of own problems to worry about, we got Orange Cassidy backstage cutting a promo saying, tonight, I'm going to make an example out of Yuta. I'm going to beat you one-on-one. And take the title from Jon Moxley. Then in comes the rest of the conglomeration, besides Kyle, with Briscoe taking the lead on this, saying, we're here for you, we're fighters. Then Orange Cassidy replies, you don't have to understand me, but tonight, promise me you'll stay away. And before anyone can say anything else, Cassidy blows up a little bit, saying, no! Which, holy heck. Then Briscoe says to Cassidy, you gotta do what you gotta do. Then Cassidy says to the, Death Riders, Mox, at Full Gear, you're going to need all the help you can get. I absolutely love this promo. We finally get a little character development for Orange Cassidy. Not to say he hasn't had any, but this blow-up was the biggest thing Orange Cassidy could do right now. And it was definitely needed. So, next up, we got our next match of the evening, and it has taken a while to get here, but it's Chris Statlander taking on Hikaru Shida. And, of course, with these two, they delivered and then some. And then, of course, continuing the character development, a couple times you see Shida look to go for the katana, but decide against it because it was ineffective in a match recently. That is so good. I love stuff like this. Anyway, they fight back and forth for a little bit. Eventually, Shida does go for the katana, but that gets completely blocked. Couple roll-ups. Shida with a Falcon Arrow, only for a 2. Shida goes for a suplex. That gets countered into another suplex. Then Shida goes for the katana one more time. That gets blocked by Statlander, who hits the Wednesday Night Fever to pick up a win. So that was a very, very good match from the two of them. Post-match, we see Mercedes Moné and Camille, who is an arm in a sling, come out with Moné saying, incredible victory tonight, Statlander. Another fun fact, I've held this title longer than you have. I won't be losing at Full Gear, and so I don't get hurt, I'm going to send in my heater. So Camille climbs into the ring. She's, takes a swing at Statlander. Statlander and Shida then dump her out. Shida continuously assault on Camille on the floor. Then Moné gets in the ring, hits a backstabber, goes for a backstabber on Statlander. That gets blocked. Right into another Wednesday Night Fever. And, babyface stands strong. This match is going to absolutely rule at Full Gear. This match was definitely interesting, but the promo afterwards, where you hear the crowd saying, after a while, "Shut the up," which makes me think, yeah, she's getting off heat. Like, she is not liked at all. Which is sad, because I like Moné. Anyway, we then see MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley think they've got Swerve Strickland cornered. But then it's revealed it's not Swerve, but someone Swerve gave his jacket to. MVP with a shot to the dude's stomach, which is wild. So then we got this weird video promo battle between Jay White and Hangman Page, with Jay saying at first, "You and me, Hangman, we're on the same path. 2024, we share the ring." Then Hangman responds, "You won't tap me out. I'm going to make sure I burn you down." Then Jay White finishes, "I got one on the Hangman." So, a very weird promo battle. I understand what they were trying to do. I would have liked to see them go face to face, because I think this feud deserves it. So next up is Bobby Lashley's big Dynamite debut, as he takes on Joe Keys and indie wrestling legend Cheeseburger. And Joe Keys and Cheeseburger are kind of having an argument on who starts, so Lashley just takes them both out. Hits a Dominator on Cheeseburger, only gets a 2 count, because Keys gets in and breaks it up. Bobby Lashley takes him out, hits a big old spear onto Keys, and then the Hurt Lock to pick up the win. So then Swerve's music hits right as he's celebrating. They all look, the entire Hurt Syndicate looks to the ramp. MVP is kind of ringside. Shelton Benjamin goes after Nana, who is holding a chair. Then we see Swerve come out from under the ring and destroy Bobby Lashley and MVP. He hits a house call on Lashley. It's a Swerve stomp. And then he bails through the crowd. Oh, that was so good. That was awesome. Swerve probably winning. Probably not. But, yeah, that match is going to be super good too. We then see Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa. They're doing an interview. with May saying, "No champion deserves a celebration more than me. But if anyone wants to step up, I'm up for the challenge. And I'm ready to turn Rampage glamorous." So it looks like May is going to be having a match a little later on tonight on Rampage. Then May continues, "In my women's division, you hold this, the women's title, or you die." Then Mina Shirakawa chimes in. She says, "At Full Gear, I'm going to throw May the best celebration you'll never forget." And then they just kind of shake their breasts at one another, which is just confounding. I don't understand why they do this. Like, I really do not. Anyway, we go back down to the ring for our next match as Darby Allin takes on Claudio Castagnoli. And I'm going to say this. Darby Allin against any guy like a lot bigger than him, he takes to the challenge. Like, this was awesome. Including a moment where Claudio hits a big swing into the barricade. Darby Allin then has Claudio in a front chancery. Claudio powers out. Looks like he was about to do a power bomb, but Darby counters right into a code red. Then at one point we see Claudio and Darby on the outside. Claudio cleans off the announce table, gets him and Darby on it, gets him in a military press slam position, and tosses him into the timekeeper's area where there's a table where Darby landed, which that was absolutely nuts. Claudio back in looking for a countout victory. Darby beats the 10 count and then runs right into a Claudio clothesline for a win for Claudio Castagnoli. That is definitely something Claudio needed. And like I said, Darby against, giants or near giants, it's usually a good damn time. We then can go backstage for an interview with Private Party, saying, "We got strategy, but we can't tell you that. This has been our goal our entire life. We're going to keep the titles through Full Gear." Then in comes the Costco guys, which I'm not sure who the heck they are, but they come in, they say AJ, who is having a match on Full Gear, saying, "We got a big announcement coming up next." So, hit the ad break, come out of it, we see MJF arriving in his car, and it looks like it's behind someone's garden shed. Although that's a big ass shed. Anyway. So that he hands the keys, or he hands something to a guy sitting there. Guy goes off. He says, "Strong, you've obviously been through a lot in your lifetime. Your mother and father were disinterested in you. At one point, your mother shot your father." Jesus Christ, dude. MJF continues, "You see an overwhelming sense of fear. Well, I feel everything, and that's why I trusted him. Cole for me was nothing more than a mirage, but deep down is a man who really cares. And I'm happy you won, Roddy, because I'm going to send you back where you belong." So, yeah, definitely more of a classic MJF promo, which I do like. But I feel like there needs to be a little bit more to this. I don't know. So then we go back to the Costco guys. They have an interview with AJ, I guess is the main guy, saying it's been 20 years for this. It's been a shorter time for me. But the only strategy is to bring the boom. And the only one I want ringing the bell when I beat QT is the Rizzler. Oh, God. Yeah, I have no idea who these people are. Apparently, they got some wildly big YouTube following, which, if you follow them, good on you. I hope they're entertaining for you. This whole thing does nothing for me. Although we have seen good celebrity matches lately, so maybe this will just be a bit of fun. So then we got an on the stage Roderick Strong interview saying, have to be honest, I haven't slept since last Wednesday. I finally get my hands on MJF. And with what you said, you think I should be ashamed of myself, of my childhood? Good job, because that made me feel like a kid again. So, everyone, don't feel sorry for me. But MJF, I feel sorry for you. I'm going to get the most out of it because I earned it. You were spoon-fed everything. Things happen and you don't happen the way you want, and then you throw your temper tantrums. Think of everything you've done to other people, because at Full Gear, you're going to pay for each and every sin. And then when it's all done, I've earned my sleep. That was the most generic sounding babyface promo I have ever heard. No offense to Roddy. He is an absolute legend in his own right. But good lord, I needed a little bit more than that. Then we see a recap of the Jack Perry, Daniel Garcia situation from Collision. Then we see a continuation of it. We see Jack Perry. He's all tied up. He's got little tape on his mouth. And then we reveal that Matt Menard and Daniel Garcia are still in charge of the Scapegoat bus when Garcia turns on the headlights. And we see Jack Perry's situation. Garcia then gets right into Jack Perry's face, saying, I want to be here, but this place is full of savages. I gotta take power. Then Jack Perry gets the tape ripped off from his mouth. He says, everyone clearly cares about right and wrong. Before he can continue, Garcia then says, I got no idea what I've been going through. I got something for you. He then takes like a baseball bat, smashes the headlights of the Scapegoat bus. Perry then turns to Garcia saying, that's it. And then Perry just kind of throws the fit and leaves the warehouse with Matt Menard following. Yeah, I do not know what this is going to lead to. Are we going to see a stipulation added to this match? I'm not sure. But this is going to definitely be a bit interesting. So next we got the Ring of Honor title contract signing. But it's not out in the arena. It's in someone's locker room. You have Jericho on one side. He's grinning ear to ear. Renee Paquette in the middle, officiating. And then Tomohiro Ishii just stone-faced. Like he looks intense. Renee passes the contract to Jericho, who says, I clearly don't sign contracts willy-nilly. I'm going to leave right now, take this to my legal team to check it out. Then I'm going to sign it. And then he turns to Ishii, says, hey, look at this guy. You stay here, I'll be right back. Jericho leaves. He turns around, we see Ishii standing outside the doorway. Jericho continues throughout the arena with Ishii chasing behind him, going up some steps into the concourse, follows him into the arena, into the ring, where Jericho grabs a microphone, saying, look, Ishii, I would sign this, but I don't have a pen. Then Ishii rummages around his person, produces the weirdest looking pen I've ever seen, gives it to Jericho. Jericho signs it, looks like he's going to give it to Ishii, but then the rest of the learning tree, so that's Big Bill and Brian Keith, come out and just start attacking Ishii. Then making the save is Mark Briscoe and Rocky Romero, with Briscoe hitting the J Driller on Brian Keith. Then Ishii hitting a brainbuster on Jericho. Then Ishii looks down. He grabs the contract and the pen, signs it himself. So the day before Thanksgiving, we're getting an ROH title match. It's Ishii versus Jericho. So, I'm going to say this. This was the best Jericho segment since he's been doing the learning tree stuff. And Ishii's physical comedy is just... he is so underrated. It's not even funny. Although, this was very funny. So next up, we have an interview with Jamie Hayter saying, I'm a bit baffled. I've never interacted with Julia Hart before, but you can do whatever you want. I'd love to have a chat with you. Then screen goes dark. We get the last of the Julia Hart vignette hyping her return. So I don't think we're going to see this at Full Gear. Maybe we'll see this on a future show, like maybe the Dynamite before Thanksgiving. Either way, definitely going to be an interesting couple shows. Which leads us to our main event of the evening, as Orange Cassidy takes on his former protege in Wheeler Yuta. And this was like 90% offense for Yuta. Like, this was the Yuta show, and he ate up every moment. He even countered an Orange Punch attempt. Yuta with a big pile driver, only to get a 2. Locks in the cattle mutilation, but Orange Cassidy gets in the rope. Yuta then pushes the referee out of the way, goes to the outside, grabs a chair, swings it, misses it on Cassidy. Then Cassidy with the roll-up victory for the win, and as he's celebrating, Pac comes out, attacks Cassidy from behind. The other Death Riders arrive. Then they tape Cassidy's hands into his pockets, and then do the lightest amount of bullying I have ever seen. Like, I've seen schools where, bullies do a lot better. Cassidy at one point gets his kicks in, but Mox with a knockout punch. Death Riders then leave the ring. They're about to go backstage. Conglomeration come out. They cut the tape from Orange Cassidy's trap. Cassidy then staring daggers right into Jon Moxley. Puts on his sunglasses and his hands in his pockets in defiance. I'm going to say this. It's going to be maybe a little bit controversial. Cassidy needed a stronger win besides the surprise roll-up. Like, I do wish we could have seen, like, a Superman punch or at least a beach break to beat Yuta. Instead, it was roll up. I don't know. I feel like I said, Cassidy needed the stronger win. And then the post-match angle started off really good. But then you just saw light bullying. Like I said. When these guys, when they were feuding with Danielson, put a plastic bag over his head twice. Like, give me something else. I don't know. This was a very weak go-home angle. Another issue I had with this show was the one-armed Monet sending one-armed Camille to fight two baby faces. Although I do understand where they're going with that. Maybe Camille turns babyface on Monet. Kind of like the whole situation between Wardlow and MJF. Which still keeps me up at night. Overall, matches were good. There were some good angles. But the main big angles didn't hit like I thought they would. So, hopefully, Full Gear comes. We see some kind of finish to all these angles. And, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where all this goes. Like I said in the beginning of this video, very up and down in the quality of these shows. A lot did hit. There was a lot more that didn't for me. So, hopefully we can get back on track and get ready for the weeks to come. Because there's some good stuff coming. We got Survivor Series coming. We got Turning Point coming for TNA. We got all kinds of really good stuff coming along. And I'm very excited for it. I can't wait. Until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.